Okay.
Okay, sir. Shall we start? We'll start. Good evening, and all. Welcome to the Mental Health Webinar Series 2020 and 2021. Today we are going to have the 461th session. The topic of can gossip lead to sickness and karma by the Dr. Preeti Anna. So I would like to welcome the today's speaker, resource person, and all the participants on behalf of American College Madurai, MS Chellamuthu Institute Madurai, Madras School of Social Work Chennai, and Red Pond Educational Research Center Madurai, Yellow Pond Counseling Center, and TNCCA, TNCPA, and STEPS Foundation. On behalf of all, I would like to once again welcome today's presenter and participant, everybody. I would like to introduce Dr. Preeti Anna. She is the past life regression therapist, and she's done acupuncture also. She's done MD alternative medicine from Sri Lanka, and she's a past life regression therapist. And she's practicing holistic healing from 2008. She's passionate and alternative approaches and dedicated to helping patients through a wide range of physical, emotional, spiritual transition in the efficient and transformative way possible. His treatments are specially tailored the need of each patient to make sure they receive the approaches that work best for them. With a kind note, I would like to invite today's resource person, Dr. Preeti Anna. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Salim. Namaste, good evening to all. I'm grateful to the Department of Psychology, American College Madurai, and their associate teams, and to all the participants who are present here. Let me start with my slides. Today's topic is, can gossip lead to sickness or karma? Yes, definitely it will lead to certain level of karmic and to an extent it lead to certain way of illness or certain attributes of other people also. So let's see how it all starts. Welcome to the pranic healing. Later I'll let you know how they are connected, how the gossip and pranic healing, they are all connected to each other. This is an ancient art. This is an ancient art which is put by Dr. Master Choco Ksui, Grandmaster, in a very simple way. In a very simple way, given in a very scientific method, how pranic healing is associated with our physical and psychological illness also. So when you see in Sanskrit, prana means life force, without which we are considered to be dead. So that energy, which is the life force in us, is what makes our body, the psychological, physiological actions all happening in our body. See, you don't decide digestion should happen or not, isn't it? Today I'm not, I'm okay, I'm full, I don't want to eat next day, so I know digestion should happen. No, it is not under our control. So it keeps happening. And Grandmaster, though he is from a very he has a very good business, well-to-do family from a business background. He himself is has learned as chemical engineering, but right from his childhood, his passion was more towards books on healing and spirituality rather than being playing with the toys of his age group and with the other sibling and cousins and all. So he has put almost 30 years of his research into this, how the subtle energies work on us, how they are in turn, how when they are well balanced, how your physical is well, without any sickness you can live. He has given in a very simple method, easy to understand, easy to practice also, and that dedication and intention to heal others is the enough, is what he says. So this is the pranic healing is what in 2008 I started with my alternative therapies. It's a wonderful, awesome way of healing, and it helps even in a distant healing also. We'll see that later. So it's an ancient science, as we put, it's a life force which even the body itself has the ability to heal itself. We all have that, the every cell, every tissue, every organ has the ability to heal itself, but it needs some time, which we don't give it generally. That is where all the problem starts. We want an instant method of getting out of our sickness. Sickness itself, sometimes the body sometimes is resisting something which has come inside. So we don't allow that to happen. If it's a, suppose if you take fever is something where the body is raising its temperature to fight against something, but we put a crocin and we just want to shut that fever away. We don't allow even to some extent to work on our body. So they all have the ability or the intelligence, we can say, to heal itself. And they they do beautiful which animal, which apart from the beautiful pets which are grown in the home, who goes to a doctor? They know which grass to eat, which one to eat, and how to heal themselves. They just surrender to the nature and endure whatever is given. If you see the where the pranic healing comes is the aura. Aura is the outer layer of our body, which is a subtle in energy. Here, the pictorial is given based on all the chakra and their colors. Generally, it will not be like this for everyone. It can be predominant of one or the other colors based on the person's attitude, his ability, and his nature, his mindset, everything differs on that, and his aura might take a different color and shape also. So this aura is, what do you say, whatever is present in your physical body is present in your aura, in your energy body, including your cell to organ system. So even before, take, if you have maybe an ulcer has formed, even before your stomach ulcer has formed, your energy ulcer has already formed. So in the energy body, that part of your system has got this wound, and that penetrates slowly into the physical body, and that is when we get to know, okay, this part of the organ is having some issue, and then we address it. So even when Grandmaster, when he was doing the research on it, he first kind of told his friend, kind of warned him, there is something wrong with your liver. So please go and check to the doctor. He said, no way. I have no issues, no pain. How can you say that? He said, no, I can see that something wrong in your liver area. Within 3 months, he was diagnosed with some liver cirrhosis or something, and he had to be hospitalized. That is when people, we generally don't take it by the face value when somebody says something when they are in research until it is proved medically or scientifically. So that is when the friend and other people around him understood, yes, there is something beyond the physical body where you can, the clairvoyants can see that. That's why when you go meet some um, masters who are really enlightened, the moment they see you itself, they'll not see your physical body or what the way you are. They just see your aura, your color. They know which part. The diseased part will have a kind of a blackish or a grayish black color in that part of your aura rather than the color it should be. So they tell you what's wrong, which organ is wrong, which is going to, or if it has not touched your physical body, they'll say there is some issue here. Please take care of that part of your system. But many of us, like, natural for us, we don't believe until unless it's not proven scientifically. So we discard it. If you see, it is not only human beings who has the aura or the etheric body, the aura body, even the plants and animals do have them. And not only plants and animals, this is a photograph taken by Brilliant Photography where they show the energy around every object. So they have taken few objects and they've shown how they look, how they glow. And if you see every you take any religion and see the God, they'll be showing an aura, a halo behind it. No, it is not only for them. We all have it, and we can develop and make it similar to the divine nature. If you develop the divine qualities in you, it can be very much bigger in us also. So was for even Lord Buddha. His aura was around 9 meters, they say. So even before he ventured into the forest area, the wild animals used to just mellow down. They never used to be aggressive because that much of love and compassion his aura was consisted of. So even they become very sattvic in nature, and they mellow down, and they are very quiet when he passes by. So our aura can be very close to your skin, like a 1 inch or 2 inch, and it can stretch up to 2-3 meters, even beyond, as we saw in Lord Buddha. It can definitely happen the way you think. Our attitude, our mindset, everything, it keeps changing. Our aura color, the shape and size, everything keeps changing. If you see, even for an object like a key or any inanimate object you take, they also do have that aura around them to a very, very, very subtle and very, very minute. That's why they say don't hold things. When some people have the habit of, they will not use the old ones, but it will all be kept in a storeroom. No, it's come from ages, it's come from my grandparents. So as the memory of them you are holding, or their ease chair or their cot or whatever it may be, uh, even jewelry, they hold the energy of the person who had used it, and when they pass it on to the next generation, they do get that. If the person was healthy, very positive, that energy will be passed on the person who is wearing it. If the person was diseased and like kind of sick or with a very negative attitude, and they were wearing that jewelry and it is passed on, definitely that will be passed, that nature will be passed on to the person who's going to wear it. That's why they say you can always cleanse and energize and wear it. There's always a solution for everything. So you don't have to worry, oh my God, my grandparents are wearing this, what will happen to me now? You can always cleanse and energize them, because as you're using anything on your body, your dress, even the mobile, which the maximum in our hand these days, uh, definitely our energies, they can feel what kind of a person has used the mobile there. If it's a person who is very subtle in nature, or who's a very good meditator, you just ask them to hold for 10 minutes. They can give the details about the person who were handling this mobile. That much of information will be passed on through the energy what we hold on to. So you can understand, when even the inanimate object holds a lot of energy of the person who has used, then imagine the person who is alive, and we are talking about them on and off, maybe good sometimes, but most of the times it's gossip about others only. So what happens then? We can see the aura of a sick person. This, if you see the central picture, that's the aura of an healthy person. Generally, we have an inner aura and an outer aura. The outer aura is like a more of a shield which is given by God to every living creature on this earth, not only for human, for everyone. So that is to shield you against what? Against any negativity, negative emotions, or even it's not only the microbes and viruses which are available in the world, which is not seen by our naked eyes. Even the entities, what we call a negative entity, are also present in the same place where we are. So they are unseen. They can create hole. They can create hole in a person who is having a addiction to smoke or alcohol, or even person who kind of gets anger, greed, jealousy. I'll take up the question and answers later towards the end. Yes, so there are entities which can penetrate into your aura when you smoke, your aura gets a hole. It's like, what do you say? You have a nice, thin, beautiful sari you have got. One small, by mistake, agarbatti has just put ashes of agarbatti has fallen on your sari. Imagine what will happen? A tiny hole has been formed, isn't it? And that is enough to enter for the entity to inside. And once the aura hole has formed, these entities enter and they thrive and they provoke that person to have more smoking, more drinking, to get more anger because that is the food for them. Like how some people love gossiping, no? That is the energy booster for them. They think that is the energy booster for them by talking about others, and they come to know about what's happening in others' house and all those things. Maybe to a certain extent it's okay, but not always. Because when you think of a person, we'll see what happens. So a person who is having a sickness around him, his aura is broken due to so many things. Maybe because of a negative habit or a negative pattern or a physical ailment. Due to something, his aura is broken. So easily he can attract the negativity around him. Sometimes it can be over also. It can be uneven distribution also will cause disturbance in your physical and psychological level. So you have to maintain that medium thing where your aura has to be even in all the places. So how, when your chakras are even, your aura is also even at all over your body. So how do you take care of your chakra? By one method I'll tell you is when we do the namaskar, that Bastik for Ganesha, the Topakarna, which you do 7 times actually facing east by breathing in and breathing out for all the 7 major chakras. Even though the pranic healing, we take it 11 major chakras, but we concentrate on the 7 important ones where even the other school of thoughts take up the basic 7 as the major chakras. So they balance that 7 times sitting and getting up in a breathing with a breathing pattern. You breathe in when you go down and breathe out when you stand. This 7 times can balance your chakra. It's an amazing. We can just do it every day morning. Facing east, so facing Surya Bhagavan, and it's a wonderful exercise to do even for the children. When we hold our tip of the ear here, this in auricular acupuncture, if you see, this is the head region. So you are activating your brain here. Our teachers used to pinch here when you do a mistake, that we remember very well for what we got it, and that includes your memory power, improves your memory power a lot. See, all those what were little punishments, what we thought was really was not a punishment, but it was to just to improve our brain capacity. Knowingly or unknowingly, our teachers, if you ask the elder generations, they definitely, we all have undergone this. Nowadays, you can't touch a child. It's so difficult. You can't even say anything. Sad to a certain extent. So most of us would have experienced this. Mothers, grandmothers, telling if a child is crying a lot for no reason, they'll say some some evil eye. No, just nazar utar. Remove the evil eye out or cast it out of the ear. They won't even touch the physical body. They'll just take some salt or some lemon, or sometimes it is dry chilies. They'll take and just move it around the body. When you do that, that energy is absorbed by the salt or the lemon or the chili, what they use. But basically, salt, rock salt is what uh, they use. So you can see a lot of healing is there in that. That was pranic healing, which they didn't know the name to be given. But the later generations thought, what is this? You're not even touching the body, how something can happen. But the child will become calm after some time. They would have noticed something has been removed because everyone come to see a child and they are talking about it, interacting. A child energy levels are very little. But when everybody is thinking and coming and hugging and giving, the energy contamination happens there. and the child cannot take it beyond the limit. So it gets into a trouble. It might feel very uneasy. So they cannot talk, and the only commute is to laugh, cry, and show it only in these ways. So when the pain is there, obviously none of us can laugh. Obviously it will cry and show it in that way. So this is what we do practice in the pranic healing. We actually heal the prana body, the energy body, which is the outer body around you. Yes, this is the best one. Energy cord. This is why I told you gossips do trouble us or can help us to get to a bad karma. When you think of a person, your energy cord is connected to the other person's energy cord. Now we are talking in a group. Imagine all of your energy cord are interconnected, yet plus about the person whom you are talking about, or about the organization whom you are talking about. So look at the energy dissipation happening. And when you're talking negative or something about the other person, you're imbibing their qualities also, their energy is also getting transmuted between your energy and their. There is an energy contamination happening over a period of time. When you keep talking, gossiping about others, you're absorbing all their energies and you don't know how to take care of your health either. Over a period of time, you start getting that person's, if that person had some ailment, there is a diseased energy. So when you are talking, the energy is depleted in that part of your body, their body. Your body has high energy, and we all know energy moves from higher level to lower level. So your energy moves there, and their energy, they absorb, suck your energy also. You can also become dull over a period of time, or the energy contamination can happen from there, and you would have absorbed their diseased energy, which over a period of time can enter into your physical body. This is how we get contamination happening, by just talking about someone unwanted. And at the same time, the reservoir of your energy, which is needed for something good in your life, you're just utilizing it in the gossiping section and wasting it a lot. So that is why if you've seen in a family, uh, you're, suppose if you're married, if you've seen your wife telling, I don't want to be like your mother, I'll be a different mother-in-law, I'll be a totally a good one and all those things. I don't want to be like her. And but over the 25, 30 years of time, there is something or the other, the daughter-in-law is constantly thinking about the mother-in-law by talking about them or by gossiping about them. Over a period, what happens? She is imbibing the qualities of the mother-in-law who had all those XYZ nature. And when she is coming to that stage of being a mother-in-law, she is absorbing all those qualities and she starts behaving like that. So that's why we have heard the serial also, no? Saas bhi kabhi bahuti, but why when she comes to that age, she starts behaving the same? Because of this gossiping, thinking about them always. Oh, she did like that, she did like that. You might not directly talk to your mother-in-law or whoever it may be. I'm just taking this as an example because this is one universal example which happens in 90% of the households, I can say. Like that, any other relationship, it can be siblings, it can be in-laws, or it can be anybody. We generally talk about them, and over a period, they are getting all the attributes of what that person had. Even the liking of the food becomes like them over a period of time. The taste, the way they conduct, everything turns to be like that. So that is why we say yes to a certain extent. And in Kannada, there is one proverb, they say, Madadaur Papa, Adadaur Bhagya. That is, whoever has done something sinful act, that is washed away by the people who are talking about it. So you're washing their karma in a way by taking it on you, all those things. So think twice before we have to talk about whom we are talking. Is it needed? Why all these things? Whatever they do, it's their karma. Let them enjoy their karma, good or bad. If it's just something good, appreciate somebody and just drop it there. You're not brooding again. Something good has to be spoken about. Even there is a period and time. You don't have to keep on talking over and over again. You have appreciated someone, good, fine. But you can always take good qualities from everyone and start living on that. You can develop yourself with all the good qualities rather than always talking about their bad qualities. You can see when we are talking now, even in this session webinar, every day when I'm talking, I'm connected to all of you, and all of us are connected to each one in this network when we are listening, isn't it? So much of energy dissipation happens. If you'd have seen, when we go to a hospital or a funeral home and come, they'll say first take bath and come, isn't it? This is our, I don't know in about the other cultures, it's definitely in our culture, Indian culture. Please go take bath and come, never enter house without even wash. At least nowadays bathrooms are inside. So let's at least wash your legs and come. But at the same time, they'll say when you go to the temple, go home directly. Or those days, people used to go only to their village temples and all those things. So they used to say, go home directly. Nowadays, you can't go. If you're going to Tirupati, where you will go home? You have to stay in some hotel and then come back, reach home, isn't it? But yes, to a certain extent, when you go to temple and come, they'll say, don't even wash your legs. Just come in. Because you're carrying a lot of positive vibrations from the temple, especially our ancient temples, which has that proper plan and based on the what do you say? The map of the structures, what the construct, Vastu. Yeah. According to the Vastu, they were so perfect. The moment you enter the temple, the bell, the chant, the water, Tirtha, everything was clearing and healing our, right from our physical to the energy body. So the air around that, even when they say do pradakshina for that particular tree, there was certain amount of energy, the oxygen, which you carry and come. You feel healthy, you feel energized. So they'll say do not take bath when you come from a temple, because the water can wash out all the energies which you are carrying and coming. That's why they say take bath if you're coming from a funeral, because you have to cleanse that dissipated energy which you had shared with that family who had a loss in their home, or somebody is sick, bedridden, or hospitalized. You're sharing your energy and coming. So when you come back, they'll say wash it. Water is an excellent cleanser. That's why you mop every day your home. It's not only you being clean, even your energy, the area around your home, in and out has to be clean. We used to do all this. If you go to the village houses and all, you can see even today, if not every day, Tuesday, Friday, they want to sprinkle the front of the house with the cow dung water with turmeric. So they keep the energy of that place very clean. They don't allow any, it's a disinfectant only, not the Domex and all those things what we have now. It's a natural one. It will not allow any insects or bacteria to enter into the house so easily. So yes, these things had some value right from our ancestors. Only thing, they didn't have the scientific reason for all these things. So they used to always, even the name of the children used to be the God's name, so that when you call your children, you are connected to the divine sound of that Krishna, Rama, whatever it may be, Vishnu, so and so. So that is how they were keeping the name. And even at that time, they will be calling the God's name. It is directly connected to the God. When you think good, there is thin strand of energy coming from the divine for everyone, everyone. And that can build like a pillar from the cosmic or the divinity based on your thoughts, your actions, everything. It can dissipate, or even a link can be cut off when you have anger, greed, and negative emotions, or talking ill about someone, shouting at someone. That can make a big difference around your aura. Aura can shrink. If you see, even this is a Chladni plate technique where this German scientist from the 18th century, uh, he is a musician too. He had given certain sound waves create certain pattern. So imagine just a sound wave can create certain pattern on a plate like this. Imagine the sound which we talk, what all vibrations it will be creating around our aura every moment, second to second. What can happen? This is what happens when we talk. That's why our culture was given talk good, speak whatever it is, let it be soft, even the tone, the way you talk, let it be very good and soft because they all have a vibration. When that vibration changes in your aura, you attract that kind of energy around you. If your aura is healthy, you attract a healthy people around you, healthy environment around you. You can see always, even the people who has any bad intention will not be able to come and meet you if their intentions are bad, and you have a very good high level of positive energy around you. That will happen. Just give it a try. You don't have to take it at the face value what I'm saying. Just always give it a try and see. Even Grandmaster Chokoks used to say, just don't take whatever I say. You experience it. You come to know. Only when you experience, then it will be yours. You can explain it to others. Yes, do this and see. It makes a big difference. And yes, by talking constantly, we can always create a lot of energy cords in our energy center in our mind. You might be single, but in your mind, you're carrying a lot of people in your head. One you love, the ones you hate also, isn't it? By talking good about the people you like, by talking bad about the people you hate, you are carrying them in your mind. So, how do you break this chain? You want to carry all these people in your head throughout the life, and you will come back again. In our past life regression, we have seen many cases people come back with the same set of people, maybe in a different relationship, but definitely they do come. Either because they had too much of love towards them or too much of hatred and anger towards them. To resolve that, you do come back. So it is not like our mathematical calculations have done 10 bad and 20 goods. So now what? Plus 20 and minus 10 will become plus 10. I have 10 good credits still. No. For 20 plus also you have to come and exhaust. For that 10 also you have to come and exhaust. You, it has to come to neutral, zero, to get your self-realization or the moksha. So it is not that too good I do also. You have to experience the too good too. You have to experience the too bad also you have done. So when you do a forgiveness to the people whom you're carrying, the link breaks. You can cut the energy cord in a different way. One is the forgiveness technique. You can always say, I so and so with your name, the person's name. I so and so forgive you with the person's name. Please forgive me, release me, together divine thanks. That release me will help your energy cords to be cut so that whatever, and this works not just at the lip level, okay, I forgive you, but still inside the deep inside, you still carry that what he or she did it years back, decades back, and all. This forgiveness happens that next time when you see that person, you don't have an iota of that anger or hatred which you are carrying. That should be to that level you have to do your forgiveness. And this works at the soul level. That's why the link breaks at that time. So that karma breaks whom with whom we have to come again and again to exhaust that desire or the whatever resentment we are having towards them. So if you see, these are the different types of negative energy which I was telling you, no? Some people who are very subtle in energy, they can feel when they touch the aura of the other person. If it is anger energy, you can see like a cactus, you can feel a pricky nature around your palms or your fingertips. You can feel that as you're healing them itself, you can feel, or it can be a sticky energy. They say gossiping has a very negative energy contamination compared to even the anger and greed, we can say. That is why was I had given a different topic name for this. But as I was doing gardening yesterday, I could hear my neighbors there sitting and chatting with them, each other, talking about each other. That's when I thought, okay, this topic, this gives a very, no, very close to the topic which I'm going to talk. Why don't I give this? And I had to change the topic which I had given the previously. Yes, we all do have that kind of habit, not intentionally, but out of, because we have seen everyone talking like that, so we think it is natural. So we think it is natural for us to talk about others. It is good, isn't it? But without knowingly. But once we know all these things are not good, we can just stop. To change ourselves, you don't need that you have to do it from your childhood, isn't it? The moment you know now, also it can be changed. So it's okay. We can always, if you have spoken ill about somebody some time ago or all these years, we can always do this forgiveness and break that link from that person so that we don't carry their energy, their negativity and all. Not only that, I would like to share one case history. Even mockery creates a karma. This lady, oh, she's around 40, from the age of 36 to 42, she was paralyzed and she was suffering. And at the age of 42, she wanted to know why I am, all of a sudden, why I had to have this paralysis attack and what made me to undergo this. I've been good all these years. That is in this lifetime. So when the person underwent a regression, uh, that person saw in the previous lifetime, person was in Rome in an arena when there was some sports activity happening that time. The person noticed a handicapped person and mocking and laughing about that person. So just laughing and teasing and see what has happened to him. You know, something talking about that person has created that karma which this person has to undergo now in this lifetime for what they have done. There is another case history where even a person who had to run to save his life from a group of cannibals in one of the lifetime, by mistake stamped and killed a newborn uh, baby deer fawn. And the mother, the baby also has forgiven that boy who ran for his life, but the mother dear was never ready to forgive that person. So the person had to suffer something in this current lifetime. In spite of asking so much of, it was unknown, unknowingly on, when he himself is running to save his life, he didn't see a newborn was lying there in the bushes and he had to stamp it and it died there. That much of karma we accumulate unknowingly also. So then imagine we are speaking knowingly about someone, about their ill and their negativity, about their odds. That person has come to experience something. That's his karma. And we are all happily cleaning that with our speeches. So we can see how the energy transference happens also. This person in the blue purple shirt is full of positive energy. And the person in the red shirt is is like full of emotions and undergoing something major, full of negative energy, maybe depressed or something. He's coming and giving all, is poured out everything to his friend, and the friend has happily taken everything without knowing how to draw a line to take something also. And now he has become dull. You can see the posture of the blue shirt person who, and how his aura has changed. And he has taken all the negativity and now he is dull thinking about the friend's issue and the friend has relieved, have poured out to somebody. Yes, pouring is not a bad thing, but the person who has to take also should know how much to take and drop it then, not to brood on it again and again to get that energy again. So always, that's why taking bath twice were encouraged in our ancient system, because you don't know morning to evening who all you are meeting, to whom all you are talking. Evening bath cleanses that, and offering a prayer, lighting a diya, showing a camphor, they all the heat in the camphor has an ability to heal you. That's why you Karpur, we take the camphor and put it on our eyes, so it cleanses us there. The energy is healed there on our outer aura, and by the time you reach home, it is good. And if you see, even in astrology and all, they'll say too much of negativity for that person, they'll say go to the ocean or the sea and take a dip there because it's full of salt. Salt and water is a very good cleanser. The day you are feeling very low, depressed, or anything, friends, go just take a saltwater bath. Once in a while, if it's too depressive or no, you think that you have nobody to say, nobody to share, at that time, just mix a little bit of coffee powder with a cup full of salt, mix it, just after taking bath, rinse it all over your body, do a deep breathing, and rinse it again with the water and come. You can feel a vast difference when you come out, the way you were before the bath and after it. Coffee and salt, it's an excellent cleanser, but not on an everyday basis. It can cleanse your good energy also, the day you're deeply, but everyday saltwater bath is an excellent technique to keep yourself healthy. You can face n number of challenges, yet by evening you take this bath and you are refreshed. Morning and evening, salt. Keep it always one in your bathroom. It's a wonderful, and if you want, you can add some sea salt. That's the best thing than the refined salt or way. This is how our distant healing works through, not only like how the gossiping also is there, so is our healing also. So you can get contaminated with your gossiping, we can help you with the distant healing. So moment we think of you, our energy cords are connected, and that is how the cosmic healing is sent through us as a medium, and it helps you to heal and balance your chakra. The moment your chakras are balanced, everyday basis, you even getting a simple, you can't take chutti in your office, okay? Because by giving a false thing, I'm sick, because you will not fall sick, not even at temperature. Believe me, this is my own experience. We have seen a lot others also, even there are many elderly couples, just to keep their self healthy, they just give us take a regularly healing every month or a few sessions, and they are happy with it than paying for a disease what they will have to undergoing. That much of energy healing. This, even if you are in another galaxy, you can reach, because that much of that thought, the mind, the moment you think of the other person, your energy cord is connected. This is how the distant healing happens. So beyond the physical, any ailment healing, these are the other psychological healings also, which can be helped not only for your ailments, even for addictions, phobias, depressions, financial healing, relationship healing, beyond any physical problem also can be used. So name A to Z, it can be used. That is how the pranic healing helps us, by keeping your energy as well as your physical body healthy, which in turn keeps your mind also and emotions also balanced. And here ends my talk. Thanks for all for your patience, for listening to me, and I'm ready now to take up your question.
Thank you, Dr. Preeti ma'am. So nice, wonderful session about the chakras, pranic healing, auras, and all those things. So now I would like to invite Sonata ma'am to take our question answer and vote of thanks. Sonata ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Please go ahead, ma'am.
Participants, you can ask person. Any doubts?
Preeti ma'am, very excellent session. God bless you more and more. Ma'am, I have one question for you. You tell the aura can be gotten in the temples more, but I feel more energy in the meditation itself. But
Yes,
I am not able to get the more positive energy in the temples. If there is a more positive energy in the temples, why does it not applied to priest who is spending most of the times there, ma'am?
your intentions, ma'am. What is that you're going on there? If it's your how do you receive it also makes a difference. See, sitting next to me, you are not you don't believe in the concept of pranic healing. Yeah, if I'm sitting next to you and heal also, it will not enter into you. You should be open for that also. Receiving also should be there. It is not just because I went to temple, as you said, temple is an example I gave because a lot of mantras, vibration, the bell, everything makes a big difference when a person is, if you are, how many of us go for peaceful, or how many of us go to ask God, give me this, give me that, give me that. In that you are not even listening to the sound. You are not even seeing the aarti shown in front of you. You are not even sitting there quietly for 10 minutes. Even sitting there, they'll be talking about some family member. See, she didn't come on that day, I didn't go this way. That is what we do know when we go in a group, or in even if we are single, we keep thinking so many things. How many of us sit quiet for 5 minutes? Just contemplate on, you don't have to go to temple. Sitting in your own place, if you're just breathe in and breathe out happily for 5 minutes, that will energize you. How many of us do that? Even while eating, it is we in front of the TV, isn't it? But what you're eating is gone along with the news or whatever you're grasping from your eyes. So how will the food also will heal you inside? It will never. So it is not about the priest who is there, but how much the priest is giving himself to that sound and that thing, and how much dedicated he is doing there also matters a lot. It's only the for the money, or just I have to do my job, I'm just doing it. That is the attitude you are having. Then you're close to that. You're close to your aura that you are not receiving anything. All these alternative therapies needs to be little bit of openness. Otherwise, it will not happen.
Ma'am, good evening, ma'am. Thankful for a wonderful presentation regarding the subject of pranic healing. I am very much thankful to you. Ma'am, I have one doubt regarding this. You have explained that one. Actually, regarding forgiveness, you just means touched the subject of forgiveness, right? So, if there is a karma principle, means there is a connection between two because of the this thing, something happened between them. So, suppose if one person he want to means cut that connection by giving the forgiveness to other, okay, maybe the grief or whatever it will be there between two. So one, if it is disconnecting, maybe the other's mind it will be there, right? So how it is means that the connection is breaking actually. Can you please?
You are connecting the break. You are disconnecting it from that person. That person, if is still having, he cannot be connected with you because of your forgiveness. That link will be connected, but he will attract somebody similar to your nature for that karma to endure. It may not be with the same person. Once you disconnect, it will not be again connected. So you are getting yourself free, not that person. He might carry that karma with him, but not with you. He might, to endure that karma, he might attract somebody with a similar nature.
Okay. That means
You are
if it
freeing
is
yourself.
okay, from one side means one way it is stopped means already broke. It's like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
You are disconnecting. If the person has to endure or learn a lesson with a similar kind of, maybe if with you, he or she has to learn a lesson, maybe you didn't want to continue, you have disconnected, they will attract similar kind of people in their life. If you see many people, even the relationship issues, they'll have a breakup and they will attract similar kind of person if they are not learned the lesson. And
Okay,
they'll say,
okay.
why again and again I'm getting same kind of person? Oh, I have a same issue because you have not learned your lesson. That's a vast
Okay.
topic with past life regression.
Okay, okay. Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Ma'am,
Thank you,
actually,
ma'am.
what is aura, ma'am? I did not understand completely.
Aura is your outer, like if whatever is your physical body, just around you is the energy body, which is very subtle in nature, which has all your, from your cell to organ system, everything is present in the aura. So, and the chakra. So when we heal your aura, that means we are working on your energy part of your, maybe if you have a stomach issue or a liver issue, we work on the energy liver of your aura, which in turn that energized liver, that energy penetrates slowly. It takes 8 to 10 hours. Even though we give the healing on your energy body, that healing to penetrate into your physical body, even though it is just so close to your physical body, it takes 8 to 10 hours to enter into your physical body to heal your physical liver or stomach or whichever organ it is. So everything what you see in your physical body is there. Your organs, your working system. That is how, even if you see the meridians and the acupuncture and all are based on that, the energy body which you can't see.
Outer layer of the body.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
you have an inner aura and little extent is your outer aura. It's like a shield given by the divinity for every being.
Oh,
Every
Oh.
being.
oh. Okay, fine. Thank you, ma'am.
Dr. Preeti, shall I?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you so much. This is Dr. Subhashri.
Yes,
That
yeah.
was a fantastic presentation. I was thoroughly enjoying it. I have a question. Now we know that in energy body, actually I'm a Reiki, level 3 practitioner, but still I am not in full-fledged practice, but I am in training. What I really feel is it indicates into the aura, that is the energy body, if there is any change in your physical body or anything it's going to happen, it indicates to us earlier. Am I right? So and also I have a doubt now with any kind of an astral body, if there is any change also, it will definitely be indicated in our aura, isn't it?
Yes.
So it has a connection now within this pandemic situation. I'm just
Yes.
connecting with an collective unconsciousness, or you mean it
Yes.
as a contemporary happiness.
Correct.
We feel that a lot of people are suffering, no? So how can
Yes.
we protect this energy body? Of course, cleansing and other aspects, and also doing little meditation. Other than that, how can we really protect ourselves? Because of this is going to, it is not in our hand. We know that. So how
Yes.
can we protect ourselves?
You can do your meditation and bless bless your family, bless the earth. In that way, we are sending even a lot of healing to others also, and we are protecting ourselves also. You can visualize yourself around a beach ball, which works as a shield also. Beach ball or a transparent ball filled with a violet color. That in a way also will be protecting you. A lot of forgiveness and sort of blessings to other people who are suffering and to the Mother Earth will definitely help healing them. Somewhere the prayer and blessings will definitely reach the needy ones. In that way, we can help them also to a certain extent to come out of their
So
suffering.
while we are doing this practice of, for example, we are sitting in a meditation and we are
Yes.
practicing the chakra activation and also body scanning, and then we are preparing a shield,
Yes.
entire body energy field, and we are energizing or charging ourselves. While we are doing, we are supposed to do this prayers, or what is it?
No.
It should be a sankalpa kind of, no?
Yeah, you first cleanse after your meditation. You can shield yourself and receive the excess. See, in meditation, generally we get a lot of abundant energy. So you can always our intention itself is much enough for things to work, even if you don't have to put enough force. The moment you think, let my excess energy reach the Mother Earth and the people around it sufferings, it will definitely happen. I like to share one incident. which when I used to be a part-time phonetic teacher past 4 years before pandemic. So every time in the path I take, there'll be one or the other potholes will be happening. But our general attitude will be always to blame others, shout at others, see somebody who's not doing it, they could have done it. No, it was always to blame or point out others' mistake. So, but after getting into it since 2008, my attitude towards this has changed a lot. I can't say fully, but a lot. So I used to always bless that place, let the divine energy. I don't know who's going to make it, who's in charge of it, but I'll always see, let this place be filled with the divine, whatever filling needs to be happen, whoever has to be happen, let it be filled with the divine energy. You won't believe within 15 days that place somebody will put some thing, cement or something, and or the tar, and they will fill that place, and there'll not be potholes there. That is the
Fantastic.
power of your energy. When your intention is like that, you just leave it to divine. You don't have to point out who has to do it. That's the divine's work. So you just put to divine, let somebody do it. Let this be done, because we know definitely I'm not going to do it. So instead of cursing others, we can always bless that place to be filled. It definitely happens. I've
That's
seen many
fine.
places like this.
Yeah. And also one more question, if I'm allowed.
Yes.
A lot of people with energy healers, they use a lot of crystals and other aspects, pyramid, or they also do pendulum dowsing, or some of them into various other accessories, no?
Yeah.
Is it necessary? Because I could see that a lot of people are getting into the trap of marketing and other aspects also. So I don't know. I am just open for it. I'm just asking a question to
Yeah.
clarify it. Mhm.
See, if you see, even the pranic healing from basic, it is only the hands which we use, but it has to pass through your energy and go. But if you are using crystal, I myself as a crystal healer, I program them and keep it for the healing. And when I use it, it's 200 times faster than my own energy passing on through me. So if the energy, cosmic energy has to pass through me, then my aura should be super healthy because it's passing through me. But when I'm using a crystal, it is used only for the healing purpose. So there's no contamination. We clean and wrap it again and keep it for the next set of healing. So in that way, crystal healing will be much faster. But it depends. See, everywhere knife we use for cutting also, to killing
The
also.
audio is break, I think.
Now, am I clear now? Hello?
Now
Yes,
it's not
audible.
earlier it
Yeah.
was not clear. Yeah.
So crystals are used in a proper way, but again, as we know, knife can be used for cutting vegetables as well as killing also. It all depends on the people and their intention towards it, and the marketing and all. But yes, if you don't need everything. I use a set of according to the color of the chakras, and two or
I'm
three in a
sorry,
ball.
completely audio is gone for me. Probably it's a mistake of my phone. I don't
Yes,
know.
Subha ma'am.
Sorry.
Yes, Subha
It's
ma'am.
fine. I will
Yeah,
get it
yeah.
from you, Preeti. Thank you so
Okay.
much for the wonderful
Okay, ma'am.
answers.
Nice
Ma'am,
talking to
excuse
you.
me. Can you say about the forgiveness, ma'am, and the breaking up?
Yeah. You can use, I'll just give you, for example, I'll take my name and anybody else.
I'm
It's
Ganga.
Ganga.
It is my
Okay.
name. Yeah. For me
Yeah.
and you. Yeah.
Yeah. Suppose if I have you having a lot of enmity and greed, I can't even see face to face, that kind of anger I'm holding on to. But at the same time, I know it is not good. I just want to come out of it. So I'll just simply say, I, Preeti, forgive you, Ganga. Please forgive me. Release me. Together, divine thanks.
Oh, you write my name and you just give letter to me.
Yeah. I am
Okay.
forgiving you. I'm using my name as your name.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
forgive you and asking you also to forgive me, because this works at the soul level, and your soul no soul will hold enmity, but it's the memories and attachments which is connected to that soul it will happen. Definitely it will happen. So
Oh,
you have to do this till you see that changes, as I told you, till you see that person and you are no longer holding that anger or enmity, you have to do this. Then that clears your karmic link there. And this has worked wonders with many family which was about to break, and they have come back with a good understanding.
Wow.
This is
Have to write piece of paper or have to
chant it.
say?
Just do it before going to bed. Before going to bed, why? Because that's the last thing you do, and it goes into your subconscious, and it works again there also.
Okay, fine.
Because your subconscious are the ones which are holding the memories of good and bad.
Yeah,
If I ask you what happened 10 years back this day, you won't know. But if some fight has happened or some good incident has happened, you can immediately recall even ages before. So that is what your subconscious holds on to. So it gets released from there.
Oh,
Even writing and burning is
understood.
another technique which you can do.
Oh, okay, fine. Then you said one thing, instead of cursing our enemies, we could bless them like that. But
Yes.
that is very good to listen, but I don't know how to inculcate in everyday life.
Start with 1, 2 people, then you will get used to it. You can do it.
Okay,
Start with the loud ones, then you can go with the people whom we are holding on to the negativity.
okay, fine. Okay, thank you.
Because what we give comes back to us, isn't it, in the
Yes,
cosmic
yes, yes.
realm?
Yes. That is right.
Yeah.
Okay. Had a valuable
Ma'am.
time. Really had a worthy time. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Thank you so much.
Hello, ma'am. Thanks for the techniques that you gave us. One technique that you were talking about is salt water bath to have a better energy body.
Yes.
So I would like to just verify my understanding. You told something should not be done often, and but I mean you can take salt water bath. I mean whether can we or should not we is my question.
Coffee and salt should not be taken on a everyday basis because it will cleanse, I mean, it will drain your good energy also. What is needed for your everyday life, the energy also will be drained down. You can take it on the day where you feel very exhausted, no, or too depressed or something. Nowadays, there's no reason for depression because we keep hearing all those cases, especially in the family circles. Those days you can take, or during the full moon and the new moon day, you can take a coffee bath. It'll do wonderful. It's a
Should
wonderful
we
healing.
dissolve it in the water or should we rub on ourselves and take a bath?
Rub it on yourself, especially on the chakra points you do, it will be good. Or if you want, you can put it in your bath, kind of mingle it with your water also and take it. That is also okay.
But as you mentioned, just having salt water bath per day every day helps us to keep the
Yes.
negativities away.
Yeah,
So how
you can
much
feel the difference. Just
is
a
it
handful.
into one bucket, something like?
Yeah. If it's a sea salt, it's a wonderful because and it'll dissolve in that heat and you can just take. If you're applying on your body, take the table salt, the pink or Himalayan salt, which is fine, and apply it. If it's a rock salt, dissolve it in the bucket and have it.
Okay, ma'am. I understand that being sensitive exposes us to both positive and negative energies. Like you go to temple, you take the positive energy more because you're sensitive, and
Yeah.
negative energy as well comes to us. So how can we be sensitive as well as strong? Like if we are not sensitive, then we are not even getting the good things. So how do we be both sensitive and strong?
I would like to say just if you have heard something good, it's fine. I call this as a full stop technique. The moment you heard something good, okay, something good, full stop. Something bad, full stop. Otherwise, when you keep thinking about it, is what you attract that energy again and again. Or if you are too sensitive, you just visualize yourself, as I told you, the beach ball or a transparent ball and fill it with violet light. Violet light is an excellent, the highest frequency, which is the color of Sahasrara, the divinity also. It will be protecting you like a bubble around you. So anything comes also will not be too much, which will be disturbing you. You will just get the kind of information and you'll be done with it. It will not disturb you too much. In this way, you are giving a shield to yourself and you can conduct yourself every day going in and out and whatever your work is. You can feel the difference. You try it. Just visualize every day after taking bath, visualize yourself with a transparent ball filled with violet light. You can see your energy is also always very good and your thought process, everything has a difference when you are in that. You just give it a try 1 week and you can give me your feedback later.
Definitely, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Can you give an authentic source references? I mean to say the courses references.
Dr. Aman, recently I have an interaction with one of the physician, and he told me that we are saying that aura, and we are saying that there are positive energy and negative energy. Is there is any technologies available to look into those energies? One thing. And second one is, I think we are studying chakras, and we are naming it that these chakras there in our body. But we can say that in existential, in philosophical way, we can understand it. But in scientific, as per my knowledge, we cannot distinguish those chakras are there in, and how we can understand those chakras, if there is any evidences are there. And if you add on that, that would be really make me sense for me, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, sir. Certain things are beyond your scientific explanation. Suppose I ask you, okay, you have a book, you have by-hearted the entire book. Yes? Maybe tables. If you take, for example, tables, you have written tables 2 to 10, and you have by-hearted over a period of time. Yes?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So all the tables are there in your mind now? After you're by-hearted, they are all in your mind. If they are in the mind, are they still existent in the book also?
Definitely.
If you have taken in your mind, they should have not been there, right?
No, how it will be. That is a sign. If it taken from the table, and the table is there, definitely it will
You're
be there.
by-hearted in a very subtle way, it has reached your mind also. So are certain subtle energies which are existence, which work on your energy bodies, which you can't. The chakras are given by our rishis, in fact, when they are in the deepest gamma level of meditation, which is seen, which are there, which is not seen to our naked eyes. But definitely there are these camera picture, the Kirlian photography is very costly, so it is done by very few of them. You can search on the web. There are few who does this. You can give your fingerprints. You have to be there. Give your fingerprints. They give you the detailed study of your chakras, how much energy are there in each and every organ of your body. Everything will be given. There are few of them who do it. You can browse on the web and you can get your chakra reading to be done. Your energy levels can be seen. Whether the chakras are in alignment or disturbed, you can see that also. And accordingly, you can help yourself to align them in an order. Beyond a certain level, the energies, you cannot give a detailed explanation in the scientific way.
Yeah, I got it, ma'am. Actually, the reason why a reason for asking here, I too believe these things really, but when they were asking that in scientifically, I have gone through some of the research article also. There are supporting research finding also for the same thing. And the same time, there are criticism also there for this procedure. And to counter those things, we have to come up with a valid scientific experiments. So that's why I'm asking, for example, as a layman who is asking about these chakras and other things. And for example,
we don't have to prove everyone with the validation, sir. It is when time comes, they themselves will start believing in these things.
Yeah, I too agree with you, ma'am. For example,
just say, okay, this is all I can do. If you want to believe, you're most welcome. Otherwise, you wait till your time comes. You will start believing, or you let them do some research on it to see if any validation is there or not.
Okay.
When they join some courses like this, they will understand. Yes, certain things are there.
Actually, it is aligned with all our endocrine systems.
No, yes. I think we are saying, ma'am, but when I'm having that number of studies which were saying that, which is not scientific, that's one thing. And for example, I will give one example here. And we were studied about conscious, unconscious, and subconscious mind. These things were given by Sigmund Freud 100 years back. During that time, there is no evidence for that. Even I too agree with that. There is no evidence. But right now, for example, what are the things we are doing in the subconscious mind? We can able to read, we can study in CT scan and PET scan. PET scan, we can able to understand that, yes, there is a subconscious mind. whatever the things they told that we can process during that time. We are having such evidences. But when we come up with such evidences, we can able to reach many people. That is the only thing I can say that when some of my friends who were asking about things, I couldn't answer the questions they asked. I told them it is unscientific beyond my understanding. Maybe I may not be competent enough to explain these things. That's why I put it here. And I can say that for any kind of process, and many of the things what you have said here, it is believed by different generations. Even my parents believe that evil eye. Still they are believing, and there are particular person they are naming it. So this is the person who is having more evil eye than anybody else in the particular place. I do agree with that. But when we need more evidence, that is the only concern from my side. Otherwise, I think you have done an amazing presentation today, and my appreciation for you that, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sunita ma'am, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. You can go ahead. I think no other questions. You can go ahead with vote of thanks.
Okay, sir. Your vibe attracts your tribe. You are the example for that, ma'am. Our energy card today is connected to this webinar. You explained nicely how we have to protect our positive thoughts and emotions. It was wonderful and amazing session, ma'am. We are thanking you from our core team members and participants. This was organized by American College, Madurai. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you all.